UFC is leaving ESPN and joining America's favorite serial killer at Paramount. They just signed a $7.7 billion deal at Paramount, and they've eliminated pay-per-views. We no longer have to pay for the big events. This is a giant deal. It is more money than Dana White said he wanted, and this is going to change the sport fundamentally forever. If you get rid of pay-per-views now, even in the next deal, you can't just add them back in. My name is Angelo. This is Josh Thompson. We're going to break down the UFC's new TV rights deal with Paramount. Josh, I saw the news. I was excited. You sent me some weird little face emoji. What the hell's your problem?
Well, can you give me the details on the deal?
Here's your details. So the UFC, as you know, they're now on ESPN. We have pay-per-views, we have fight nights. It all exists on ESPN between regular ESPN, ESPN Plus, and the occasional ABC fight. Now, everything is exclusively going to Paramount. Paramount Plus is the CBS umbrella, and it's their sort of paid service. It's cheap. I have it. I get it free with my Walmart Plus subscription. It's a great streaming platform. On that platform, they're going to do 43 events a year. That's basically what they do now. So basically fights every single Saturday except 10 Saturdays throughout the year. 13 of those events will be numbered. Typically what we have today as a pay-per-view. They will be numbered. 30 of them are just normal fight nights. The numbered events, those 13, what we have today as pay-per-views, will be 100% free, but they will be on CBS. Just regular free broadcast television that every single person in this country has access to. There are no more pay-per-views. Paramount said there will not be a rate increase for UFC. Like there's not going to be a tier on your Paramount Plus subscription to get UFC. And it's a $1.1 billion per year for 7 years. This is a monster deal. Dana White said he wanted $1 billion. He got more than that. He got a great streaming platform. I have Paramount. It works. There's no buggy bullshit with the app. It's fantastic. And with the big events being on CBS, quite literally more eyes than the sport has ever had.
Yeah.
And this is huge for the UFC. As a user, let me hear your thoughts as a viewer, as a consumer of the product. And I'll give you, I love it overall, but there are a couple of things that could be tricky.
I'm excited for it. I guess like when I sent you the face palm emoji kind of situation was, CBS and Showtime were part owners of Strikeforce. They've, and obviously they fumbled the bag and they see the UFC is now having success. They basically sold Strikeforce off. And I know it was Silicon Valley Entertainment that owned the majority share, I think 51%. They decided to jump on the bandwagon. I think Showtime didn't want to spend the money to take over Strikeforce and pay them out to just say, hey, this is our company now. We can go ahead and just keep it on Showtime and CBS way back when in 2012, I think is when the deal was done. Something like that. Then they turn around, Showtime and CBS and these guys, they also was Spike TV. It was at the time. They also had Bellator, and they very rarely entertained the CBS situations because of, remember the Nick Diaz and Mayhem Miller situation in Nashville, I believe is where it was. That ruined Strikeforce and MMA being on the CBS platform.
Yeah, so anybody who doesn't know, they fought for free on CBS, Channel 3 in most areas, and then quite literally there was a giant fight inside the cage afterwards.
Yeah, and then Gus Johnson...
And it just made the sport look barbaric and ridiculous. These people are animals. And CBS is kind of an older crowd. Like, it's not Fox. Yeah. So it was, they hated it at the time. But the sport's evolved so much since then.
Well, you can just have the quote, and I love Gus Johnson in basketball and what he calls events. But in this situation, he's like, these things happen in MMA. And that there, that whole stigma stuck with the sport for years and years. I think we're finally getting over that little hump right now. My face palm emoji was CBS, Showtime, Paramount. They had it. They had it all. They had it from the beginning. They had Strikeforce. They fumbled the bag. Then UFC got bigger because they decided to sell Strikeforce. And to go along with it and not just pick up the pieces and say, hey, let's go ahead and fund this and let's see what happens. Because like I said the other day, that was the golden era, I think, of MMA. You had Dream that was, had the lightweight guys. You had Eddie Alvarez over there, Takanori Gomi. Like people were watching Dream fights because it was a kind of a smaller version of Pride, the smaller guys. Then you had Strikeforce. It had a lot of top level heavyweights, a couple guys mixed in there. You had Tim Kennedy, you had Luke Rockhold, you had DC. I mean, like you had fighters you could build on. You had Gilbert and myself. There was guys in that mix, Tyron Woodley and Nate Marquardt, all those guys that were out there making names for themselves. It was the golden era of the sport. CBS and Showtime fumbled the bag. They, it went. They went along with the sell. Sell happened, whatever it was. Then you have Bellator. You built up Bellator. You spent money on it. You got it built up. And then you turn around and you just gave it away to the PFL. Literally just gave it away. Now, maybe this has been in the works for 2 years because it really is only a year and a half. Maybe this has been in the works for that amount of time. Because if I'm the UFC that would make a lot of sense because they were just, CBS and Paramount has been hemorrhaging all their products. Everything. They've been cutting everything off. They need to get some sort of sports on there. I know they have football, but they need to get some other type of sports on there. CBS, if anyone, is known for MMA because of the Showtime with Strikeforce, because of Spike TV, because of Paramount. All the Spike TV and Paramount are the same shit. So they are known for that. They have past relationships. I think really what happened was during that whole Conor McGregor situation and in the UFC, they put together the Mayweather fight and all that stuff. All of that shit happened. There was animosity that was built up from the Spike or Paramount deal and the Spike TV deal. They were like, yeah, fuck you guys. I honestly believe there's been a huge change in the guard at the top of the food chain at Paramount. Those people now are gone. They're like, we're burying the hatchet. This is the best. This is the number one promotion. It's like owning the NFL, basically.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you have. You have the number one, most probably watched, every week watched, and it's year round. It's year round. We 13 fights, 13 on CBS, and then the rest on Paramount. Like, it makes sense. I'm just more my face palm thing was CBS. You had all this available to you twice, not once, but twice.
Yep.
And then now, but to be honest, it's a lot smarter. What they did is you're not putting money in now. You're putting money in for the view, but they handle everything. They don't got to do anything. Like they UFC's got
it's
their
just
model.
a broadcast deal. Yeah, it's
yep.
just a broadcast deal.
That's
they
it.
have
Yep.
there's no production, there's no whatever. So I get what you're saying that, hey, Showtime, CBS, they've been involved in MMA in the past and they screwed it up. But in that world, they were more than just a broadcast deal. It wasn't just like the networks don't tell the NFL, change these rules, change those rules, do this, do that. They don't do that. The NFL just says, here it is. You can sell whatever ads you want.
But that's what Showtime. That's what Showtime and CBS did. They used to tell Strikeforce and Bellator what fights they wanted in what order.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, why? Big John and I used to like lose our shit. Like, why is so-and-so on the fucking undercard? Like, this guy's going to have one of the better fights. And almost every time, not every time, I'm not going to say that every time, almost every time it ended up being that way. Like, this fight's going to be the better of the fight. This fight, like this, why do you have this guy so high up there? Oh, the network wants it. It was killing us, man. It was killing us. And I think with Coker, he's very anti-confrontational. He's just like, look, give them what they want in the one fight. We'll take the rest of them where we want it. And, but Coker's built a brand around all these stipulations that they used to impose, especially the Strikeforce days. Fuck, man. It was brutal. It was brutal. They were moving guys around, doing this, doing that. It was brutal, but this is a huge deal. Huge. I love the fact that we don't got to pay for it. CBS is known across the world, but it's good. Their viewership's going to skyrocket. I was expecting more of a. I was expecting a Netflix deal. I was expecting a YouTube deal. I was even keeping something in the back of my mind, maybe Facebook, maybe.
Well, because Zuckerberg's on the board, or Dana's on the board of the Facebook parent company, Meta. So couple of things here. So the past is the past. This is a new era. The UFC is an established brand. They built this brand. The UFC is a well-known entity, and I don't think CBS has to, or Paramount has to do anything, right? It's just a broadcast deal. Couple of things to note here. Paramount is like $6 a month, right? It's like $5.99. Maybe it's $10.99. I don't know. I get it for free. I mentioned with my Walmart Plus.
If you have
my
Disney,
Walmart
I think
Plus,
you get it too with Disney, correct?
No. No, you
No,
used to get ESPN with the Disney bundle, not
got
Paramount.
it. Got it.
It's its own world.
Got it.
But here's some numbers for you in today's world. To be a UFC fan right now, let's say you're like me, you pay for all the events, you do all the things. Pay-per-views are $80. 12 times 80 is $960 a year just to get pay-per-views. ESPN Plus, maybe you get it for free with Verizon, which is I have, maybe you have to pay for it. Let's assume you have to pay for it. That's about $120 a year. So it costs a UFC fan that doesn't get anything for free, it costs a UFC fan over $1,000 a year to watch all of the events. Now going to Paramount, the fight nights, if you are a diehard fan and you want the fight nights and you're going to pay for Paramount Plus, it's like $6 a month. If you are not a diehard fan and you don't care about the fight nights and you only care about the pay-per-views, it quite literally will cost you $0. You don't even need cable. CBS, I don't know, anybody who doesn't know, in America, ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox, the government has mandated, this is broadcast television. Broadcast television is free. You can do old school rabbit ears or get the free box from the cable company to convert to digital. It is free. And I think that's tremendous. Two things. One, other people are going to complain about that I'm not going to complain about. Oh, now that it's all free, the cards are going to be shit and blah, blah, blah. First of all, I disagree. I think because the pay-per-views are on CBS, and I'm going to keep calling them pay-per-views, understanding that they're free. Because the numbered events are on CBS, there's going to be tremendous pressure from the UFC to put together spectacular cards to get as many views as possible. They want those CBS numbers to be tremendous because they paid UFC $1.1 billion a year, which means CBS has to sell all these ads, right? We're going to get commercials. So on one hand, I know people are going to complain that the fight card, oh, they're not going to be as good and Dana doesn't care anymore. They're free now. I disagree. I think the same exact pressure is there. But I do think the experience won't quite be the same. If it's on free broadcast television, the commercial breaks are going to suck.
Yeah.
We might not get walkouts. We might not get 5 full cars in a 3-hour broadcast. We might not get a lot of those pieces. Obviously, they'll kill some airtime. Like right now, they're just rambling and showing highlights if there's a bunch of quick finishes. We might not have to deal with some of that, but we will get commercials. And I like the walkouts. I like, the full experience. Like right now you buy a pay-per-view, you are locked in 3 hours. It's only that. And all of a sudden we're going to get a Whopper, those type commercial breaks. It's going to kind of.
It's sort of like the hamburger Whopper.
Yeah, hell yeah. Shit's delicious. So that's going to bother me a little bit. Like it won't be the same experience, but it's for free. And for free is for me. I can't complain.
No, I understand completely what you're saying. Are we going to get 5 and 6 fights on the main card now? Because look, one thing you'll learn with free TV is that they want the pacing to be around their commercials. And what they'll do is they'll cut you down to 4 fights. Like that was one of our problems with Showtime and CBS was that they only wanted 3, maybe 4 fights. Sometimes if it was 2 title fights, they only wanted 1 other fight on the main card. They didn't want 4 fights. They were like, oh, let's put a floater in there. And if the fights end early, then we can go ahead and jump on early, whatever it is, and we'll put one in there. It's tough, man. It's tough because I think the sport's going to lose its way a little bit. This is going to be a great thing for the first year. And then I think what you're going to see is the excitement of it's going to wear off. And you're going to end up going like, man, it's fucking commercial after commercial after commercial. It's like watching the fucking Super Bowl. Yeah. It's going to be commercial after commercial. And when fights end early, you're just going to get more commercials.
Yeah,
it's not like you're going to get
fill that time.
And they're not going to. They're literally just going to fill more commercials. So I don't know. There's something to be said that I like the pay. I've always said this is that, when everyone's complaining about fighter pay and they're all ecstatic, they're all, like, oh, fighters pay this. They should get paid more. They should get paid that. We get 14 fights, pretty much 15 fights on every fight card, until fights fall off. We get a lot of fights. I think that's possibly going to change. I think that's possible.
Just fewer fights, smaller events.
Yep. Because look, every executive at Showtime that I ever talked to, like I'm talking high up. So every time we talk to them, they said the ideal world is to have it look basically like a boxing. I know boxing only has maybe 5, maybe 6, fights on the card. but they're also the drug out. Like the fights last longer. Like you don't
Oh,
get
the
as many
pacing in
finishes.
boxing is the worst in sport.
Yes. So I think you can still but I think it's going to cut down. Like there's going to be 8 to 9 fights now, especially on those CBS cards. The
I wouldn't
prelims
be
you'll watch somewhere else. You'll probably watch the prelims on
the
Paramount, and
prelims will
you'll
be
probably go to
correct. Yeah.
CBS for the rest of the card. You're not going to get 3 hours or 4 hours of prelims and 5 hours of prelims and main card on CBS. They're just not going to block off that amount of space for it.
Yeah, especially college football, like fights are on Saturdays. So I agree that the undercards will not be on CBS. It'll just be the main card. So Paramount will be the home, the app for everything else. And I'm totally cool with that. And actually, Paramount has an actual station on cable as well. It's not only an app. Obviously, it will be maybe the pay-per-views, they'll do the undercard on the TV station. But for the most part, it's going to be in the app. That's how they're going to make their money back. But my one and only concern is the commercials will be annoying, but it wasn't $80. Like, I'll watch some commercials to not pay $80. Like, if you gave me the option, Angelo, here's your pay-per-view main card, I'm going to give you commercials, or you can pay me $80 and there's no commercials. I'll be like, yeah, I'll watch the commercials. So like that, I'm not that worried about that piece of it. It will take away from the experience a little bit. I am worried though that there won't be 5 fights on a main card because it's 3 hours without commercials. And in order for it to be worth their money, they're going to have to shove a bunch of commercials in there. So they're either going to lose a lot of the hype, a lot of the promo, a lot of the walkouts, or we're going to lose a fight. And right now, we do get fights on ABC through the ESPN deal, but those are middle of the day. Like those are the Abu Dhabi cards. We're not getting Saturday night 3 full hours. We're getting middle of the day, not during college football. There's quite literally nothing else to show on TV.
It's something new, but remember Dana just said, hey, we're going to go with something that's a little bit more worldwide. Well, CBS is not.
I don't know what they're doing outside of I don't know, and they haven't said what they're doing outside the U.S. Obviously, CBS is not worldwide. Paramount is available in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
I don't think it's available literally everywhere, but it is available in other parts of the world. So they haven't announced everything. This came out of like Dana White tweeted a screenshot of a quote from himself. Like we don't have every individual detail, but we know the number of events is not going down because Jacob tweeted like, hey, people are going to complain about some shit here, but we need to be thankful because they could have very easily been like 2 events a month. You're going to get 1 pay-per-view, 1 fight night, and that's it. Go back to the old days. But they were keeping 43 events a year. It's for a ton of money. So I imagine they do want as many fights as possible. I don't know what's happening with the fight library, the history, all that stuff.
It's all getting pushed to Paramount.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be nice because right now it's on Fight Pass, and Fight Pass sucks. Fight Pass is so bad. Paramount Plus, I use that app. It's I watch Dexter. I use the app. It's great on all my devices. The ESPN app is a little buggy. Like, I think this is objectively good. I'm not going to love the commercials, but to save $80 a month, yeah.
I'm wondering, though, how the Paramount app's going to be able to handle this type of traction, though, to a live sport. That's what I'm concerned about. Like, look, Netflix struggled, when it had the Jake Paul fight. If you recall, it was fucking shutting off everywhere and this and that. Like
it was,
they worked it out, and they took some time, but they got it all sorted out. Paramount's going to, I think, struggle these first probably I'd say the first probably 5 or 6 shows. They're going to have
and they may.
Yeah, because it's a live event. It's different than if you put Yellowstone up and people watch, 200 million people watched it. Yeah, they watched it over a span of, whatever, a month.
Yeah. Not
all at one time in a 3-hour period.
Yeah.
Where everyone's just flooding your app. So, I mean, they're going to have to work that out. Hopefully it works. We'll see. It's good. Like Dana came out and said, like, it's good for the fighters. Tell me how it's good for the fighters.
Yeah, if they're not getting a raise because of all this extra money the UFC's making, it's not good for the fight. It doesn't matter to them, or it's worse because what the hell happens to pay-per-view points now?
Yeah. I wonder if your contract, because it'll be a numbered event. Do you get paid your
total viewership, maybe?
Yeah, because look, Cain Velasquez, when he came over, or when Cain Velasquez fought Junior Dos Santos in the very first one, they paid him his pay-per-view points for that first Fox fight that he lost. He made almost $20 million, and that was unheard of. Unfucking heard of when that happened. Fox is like, oh, no, we can't lose Cain, like, because Cain got hurt the week before, and there was rumbles. They're like, we'll just pay him his fucking pay-per-view points. Pay him whatever it is. Get him to fight. He fought. He lost. Shitty situation to be in, but then he came back and just fucking mollywopped Junior for 2 more fights. There's a lot of questions to be answered on this. I want to know what's going to happen internationally. How is everyone else going to watch it internationally? Are they going to watch? Is it just going to be available on Paramount, like worldwide? Is Paramount available worldwide? Is it just, I don't know. We'll find out. But I also want to know the details on how does this help fighters? How, like, look, they took away the
I think just pure eyes is probably what he's talking about.
because they took away the sponsors from a lot of fighters. Like I said, when I fought Nate Diaz, and I fought Benson Henderson, I made just one sponsor paid me. One sponsor paid me 25 grand. Like I made, and I had like 5 other sponsors. I made almost $70,000 extra just on my sponsors. And then shortly after that Reebok came, I made zero. None.
Well, now they're like the highest paid fighter in the card is getting like 12 grand from Reebok.
and this is the worst part. Do you remember when Dana used to say, "Oh, the fighters are coming in looking like fucking NASCAR drivers."
Oh yeah, the octagon's a mess.
Now the fucking octagon looks like a fucking NASCAR fucking jumpsuit. They're everywhere. I'm like, okay, so you just took all the money from the fighters for their sponsors, and then on top of it, now you're striking all these $1 billion deals. Great, I'm happy. I want the sport to grow because this is what raised me pretty much. Is this sport, and I have everything that I have. Every fucking penny I pretty much ever made, I made by getting punched in the face. Yeah. So I would like to see some of these younger guys and some of these fighters get their due, man. Get their due. I think it's huge. It is a huge deal for these guys to get their due. So I hope the numbers come out and we see the fighters start to get a bump in pay. Huge. It's a huge deal. Huge deal. So see.
Yeah, I don't know when Dana says that, if he's talking about literally, hey, we're making a ton now, they can make more. Probably not. He's probably talking raw eyes. Just, hey, before 300,000 people would see you, and now 3 million people will see you. Yeah. And honestly, there's some truth to that, right? There's more people who know who you are. There's more opportunities to make money outside the sport, but it's not quite the same for getting paid to do your actual job. So when they announced this, what was your best case scenario? Like, if you could dream up, this is where the UFC is going, what would you pick?
Oh, the best case scenario I feel like would have been Netflix.
Yeah.
I think it would have been Netflix. You have Netflix, you have the prelims probably on YouTube, or you have the prelims on Facebook, and you sign a lucrative. Facebook is more worldwide than CBS.
Yeah, but there's no like TV app for Facebook or anything.
No, I get it. But I mean, those are all things that they could have potentially have worked out. You know what I mean? Like, but I understand, but that would just be for the prelims. Like, you're putting the main stuff on Netflix, and I think the Jake Paul like run through was a very good, it was a very eye-opening situation. 100 million people at one point were watching. It made sense. Netflix. Yeah. I also thought maybe YouTube would slide in there, and still some of that mojo. But that didn't work out. I mean, YouTube is woke as fuck. So that might, Dana being Dana, that probably didn't help the situation. But CBS and Paramount are fucking known for being the wokest of woke. And so, and they've had their problems before in the past. They obviously ironed them out, and money does a lot of those things. Money will solve problems real quick. It'll mend relationships, as we were just seeing right now. But I think it's a good thing. Hopefully, in terms of what I like in the States, to me, honestly, CBS Sports, CBS, that's a perfect platform for them to be on. I've worked with CBS, I've worked with Showtime, fought for CBS and Showtime. I've fought, the relationship. I know all the guys that work there. They were all there. So it's a big deal. It's a huge deal. But we'll see.
Yeah,
how it works out.
I like it a lot. I would say best case scenario would have been Netflix, and I'm not even saying divide it just 100% Netflix, because you get one platform, the most widely available app on planet Earth, and no commercials. Mm-hmm. So I would have preferred Netflix, but I think this is a perfect second, because I was starting to get like, this is gonna suck when Dana was talking about we might have a couple different things going on. Dude, I don't want to have to change entire apps or have 3 different subscriptions, or I want to go to one place and stay there. And yeah, maybe for pay-per-views or numbered events, we might have to jump back and forth, but I want a single user experience. That was nice at ESPN. Like, you could just use the ESPN Plus app. I don't care where it was also being shown, like on ABC or whatever. Mm-hmm. You could just be in the ESPN Plus app all day. You stay right there. That app was kind of clunky. It was kind of messy. It's not on every device. And like, that had its own problems, but I think this is a perfect second option. Like Netflix was number one. This is a perfect number two. And it was kind of out of nowhere. Nobody was predicting this. So I think it's I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a great deal. Let us know what you guys think about the UFC's new deal. If you love not having to pay for the pay-per-views anymore, but you have to substitute commercials, let us know what you think. This is Angelo. I'm Angelo. This is Josh Thompson. And that was another Bad Takes.